from the Disneyland Hotel. This is in San Pedro, California. This is Bob. Forget his last name. He was one of my roommates on the boat. He took a bunch of us up to his family's home for a bon voyage party before we left, up in the Anaheim Hills. There's Mom and Dad and cousin Larry Lem on the Seven Seas, getting ready to leave the port of Los Angeles for a 5-month trip around the world. There's Mom, Dad, and Larry Lem. My cousin, he was in the area, so he came down to see me off. I wish I had taken more pictures of the students. The one Chinese boy in the glasses there was one of my roommates as well. Our porthole, our room, was right on the water level. So I spent a lot of time looking out at the water, whizzing by. This was February of 1966, heading for Tahiti. We went to Tahiti, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, India, Sri Lanka, Kenya, Djibouti, Egypt, Lebanon, Greece, Israel, Rome, Italy, Algiers, Morocco, and the Madeira Islands before coming all the way back around to New York City. As it turned out, I had a very limited amount of film, and unfortunately I could have used it in smarter ways, I think. I spent a lot of film on birds and sea, but that's what the trip was really about too, so we were on the sea most of the time. This was the initiation ceremony, crossing the equator. The German crew of the Seven Seas, which was a Holland-America aligned ship, put each and every one of us, 300 American students, through the crossing of the equator ceremony, which included grease up the ears, the nose, coffee grounds in the face. Oh, there you go. Egg yolks cracked on your heads, thrown into the pool with 6 big sailors who dunked you under, and they stuffed grease up your nose and all kinds of awful things. When we entered King Neptune's realm, we had to pay the price. Flour. Oh, stuff it down there. That's one of my roommates, Dave. Ooh. Into the pool to be dunked and held underwater. There's King Neptune and his court, and the captain of the ship. Those old German Fräuleins really got into this. Kodak moment. Coffee grounds come out of the Kodak picture. Stuff up here. No. This is entering Papeete Harbor after 10 days at sea in Tahiti. They had just begun building the international airport. The town was still like it had been for centuries for the most part. The modern rush of tourism had not yet hit. This was in February of 1966. As Daryl Dean, he was the cruise director. This is in Tahiti, going from the docks, or at least where the ship was docked, on a trip around the island. This is, I believe. I believe this is Cook's Cove, Captain Cook's Cove, they call it now. Cook discovered Hawaii in 1878, and I imagine Tahiti was just about the same time. No, excuse me, 1778. Oh, we had a whole line of, as we did on all of our excursions, of about 10 buses to carry all the students. Now there's a blowhole. We stopped at this. Oh, there's Rod Rion. He became a very close friend of mine. He died in 1979. I was in Greece at the time. Rod moved straight to New York City, getting off the boat. He stayed in New York. Spent the rest of his life there. I caught back up with Rod when I moved to New York in 1972. In fact, he was who I spent the first couple of weeks with. Here we are. This is at the Gauguin Museum, I believe. That girl's name was Sam. Yeah, Gauguin. I think they had a couple original paintings there, but all the originals of his great work are in Paris. Some of the local people. Tahiti is truly a paradise, at least it was then. Ah, the Tahitian hula dancers out at the old ruins, the ancestral grounds. What I remember most is the drums, the Tahitian drums, which are so special. (1966). Back to the boat, heading for New Zealand. Next stop, New Zealand. Now this is a beautiful country. We went to the North Island, Wellington. Unfortunately now I spend a lot of film on seagulls. Rather than other things, but there you have it. I suppose it'd make a good clip for Jonathan Livingston's Seagull. My seagull footage. I think that might have been an albatross. This was the Seven Seas' last voyage. Around the world. There's the pilot boat taking us into the Wellington harbor. Joe Enos was an American Indian from Nogales, Arizona, I believe. He and I became quite close friends. When we went on our excursions, land excursions, we'd occasionally go out together with some other people. This is Wellington, New Zealand. That's our ship down, or no. That's our ship down there. This is a funicular rail car they have there for some reason. I don't know what I'm talking about there. This is back in the harbor, taken from the ship, it looks like. Looks like we're getting ready to leave Wellington. Yes, we are leaving. All of our new friends are saying goodbye. Daryl Dean, Recreation Director, whatever. More birds. There's Rod Rion and friends. We encountered quite a windstorm leaving, and the waves turned out to be quite large out in the channel between the North Island and the South Island. There's yours truly. Pilot boat leaving us, and we're off to Australia. These seas are apparently notorious for sudden and very dangerous storms. We were sailing into a very strong wind, and the waves were getting bigger and bigger.